Hey everyone, Gary Elysium's here. If you haven't hit that subscribe button already, please go hit it. You support my channel, also you give me motivation to make more videos like this. This is my first video of 2022. This one was inspired by Brendan Snyder. Brendan Snyder, I'm a big fan of his channel, always watch his videos. So if you haven't, go check out his videos, subscribe to him. He's always got great content. So what Brendan does is he'll post videos of his new music finds. And something I used to do back, let's say a little over a year ago, but didn't get many views, so I thought people weren't into it. But with this one, I thought I'd try it again. And these are all CDs I've gotten within the last week. Basically, I already alphabetized them from A to Z, and they're in chronological order, which is how I put them away in this CD wall behind me. So A to Z is basically all my rock, pop, and metal stuff. Also have broken down in genres like reggae, jazz, country, blues, soundtracks, compilations, things like that. Alright, so we're gonna get right into it. First one is Almond Joys. This is the early Almonds. This was recorded in 1966 before the Allman Brothers Band's debut album, which was released in '69. So this was originally released in 1973, and this is a 2019 UMG Recordings remaster. Next up is Bachmann's Overdrive. This is a twofer on BGO Records from Great Britain. Features their debut album and their second album, which is my favorite by them. You can see there, and take the slip sleeve off. You got the second album cover on the front and the debut on the back. Bachmann's Overdrive, I only own a compilation on CD, but I have these albums on vinyl, and I'm a big fan of their second album. So glad to finally have it on CD. Next up, Black Flag Damaged. One of the most important punk albums of all time, and this is actually an original CD pressing of this. Once I looked it up on Discogs, I've owned this a few times. I don't know if people borrowed it, never returned it, or what happened, but I don't currently have it, so I'm glad to have it again. I found this really cheap, and it's a really great album. Next up, something I grabbed from Dollar Tree. So Dollar Tree has recently been having a lot of CDs, and I've been having some luck finding some decent things there. This is the actor Jeff Bridges with his band The Abridgers. This is a live album, and Jeff Bridges is actually a really decent artist. So if you haven't checked him out, I suggest go listen to some of his stuff. This also features a cover of Looking Out My Back Door, written by John Fogerty, obviously for Creedence Clearwater Revival. Next up, last CD I needed to round out my Birds collection. This is Dr. Birds and Mr Hyde. Great album. This is that signature country, rock, psychedelic, bluesy sound that they would really come to be known for after Sweetheart of the Radio, which is basically my favorite era of the Birds. Next, CD for some reason I haven't had in my collection. I know I've had this before. Tracy Chapman, her debut album features a huge hit, Fast Car, talking about a revolution. Tracy Chapman, a really good artist, a really good guitarist, and it's just something that just want to relax, you throw it on. Pretty decent. Next I have Chocolate Watch Band. This is No Way Out Plus. So I don't know if this was ever actually released on CD. I remember hearing of this band through the Nuggets box set and discovering that I wanted to own this album. And this was probably mid-2000s, and found out that this wasn't released till 2009, so I've actually been looking for it since then. So it's their debut album from 1967. It says plus because it also features 8 bonus tracks on here. Next is a band I'm not really into, but I like some of their songs, and I own a few albums after this. It's Coldplay with their debut album for Parachutes, and I basically found this for $1 at a Goodwill store, so figured why not. Next we have Crosby, Stills and Nash. This is their debut album, which I obviously own because it's one of my favorite albums of all time. But this is the 2006 remaster, which I didn't own. I just had the standard version. It features 4 extra tracks on here. One of them being a demo of Teach Your Children, which would end up on their next album, Deja Vu, which also featured Neil Young as Crosby, Stills, Nash, and Young. Next I have some Def Leppard to complete my Def Leppard studio collection. Not a big fan of these albums though. This is Slang, released in '96. Kind of a weird sound. Definitely doesn't sound like Def Leppard at all. Next we have X. When X came out in 2002, I did like the song Now. Still think it's a decent song, but the rest of the album for me is really not that listenable. Kind of like the cover though. I think it's kind of cool. Next we have Yeah. This one's not bad. I know this album gets a lot of shit. I do like it though. It's all covers, 14 covers altogether. I remember owning this when it came out. Must have traded in and got rid of it, which I don't do anymore. I don't get rid of my CDs, but I'm glad to have this again. And another one I had when I remember buying it when it came out. I never got into it. 2008's Song from the Sparkle Lounge, but re-listening to it again, it's actually pretty good. I like it. Next is a compilation I found at a Goodwill store, probably for 50 cents. Soul to Swing, the very best of Dire Straits. Do like Dire Straits. I have all their classic studio albums. I already have a compilation, which I believe is called Money for Nothing, but this is a newer 1998 HD CD release, so I know it sounds gonna be a lot better than the other compilation I own already. Next is the 40th anniversary of LA Woman, even though they're celebrating the 50th anniversary now. I've never owned this. Obviously, I've owned LA Woman because it's one of my favorite albums of all time from one of my favorite bands. First disc is LA Woman Remastered. Second disc is previously unissued versions of basically all the songs on LA Woman, plus She Smells So Nice and Rock Me. And it also features a really cool booklet in there with some awesome photos. Another cheap one I found. The future starts here, the Essential Doors hits. Like I said, Doors are one of my favorite bands of all time, and I'm not a huge fan of compilations, but when it comes to some of my favorite bands, I have to get them to complete it. And next we have Jeff Lynne's ELO. This is Wembley or Bust. So this is a 2-disc live album from Wembley Stadium, recorded in June of 2017. Obviously, to me, Electric Light Orchestra is Jeff Lynne, so I know there were some legal issues and problems. That's why he now goes under the name of Jeff Lynne's ELO. Next, we have a band I was never really into. This is Gojira with Fortitude. It was just released this past year, 2021, which is 2 days ago, so kind of weird saying it's the past year. I remember buying either their debut album or second album and just never got into it, but I found this for cheap, and I know it had some decent reviews. It was actually brand new for cheap, so I figured I'd pick it up and give it another try and see if I get into it. I listened to like half the album, which was like okay, but nothing I really got into, but I'll keep trying. Next up, another twofer. This one from Grand Funk Railroad. These are 2 albums I needed. Grand Funk Lives and What's Funk, both recorded on 1 disc. And the booklet's just, really nothing to it. You can't flip it over to have either one, on the side, on the front. So yeah, I don't know if they were ever released separately on CD. If they were, I've never seen them. So that's why I have a twofer. Another twofer. This runs from the Guess Who. This is features Wheatfield Soul from 1968, which is an amazing album and probably their breakthrough album. Features the huge hit These Eyes. And the other one is Artificial Paradise, which was released in 1973. Take the slip sleeve off. You got Wheatfield Soul, and the other side you have Artificial Paradise. Artificial Paradise, I've never heard the album before, so I'm gonna listen to it, give it a try. The only thing I don't like is these twofers here, like with Guess Who. This isn't the only one they did it with. They did it with a couple other ones. They have an album from 68 and an album from 73 together instead of just putting them in chronological order. Next up, I remember when this album came out. I've never bought it. I've always looked at it, always thought about buying it, finally caved in. Sammy Hagar, this is Red, the Essential Red Collection. Basically, it's a compilation of Sammy Hagar's greatest hits. 20 songs total. Features stuff from Montrose, there's some previously unreleased stuff. Nothing from Van Halen, but it also features some of the songs that he released on soundtracks like Fast Times at Ridgemont High. And next, Heart is another band that I want to complete their studio collection of. So I have Private Audition, released in 1982. This album did not do well when it came out, and kind of seen a downfall for Heart for the next couple of years. As did this album, the follow-up Passion Works. At this point, critics and record labels basically written Heart off. They were no longer the band they used to be. They weren't cranking out hits like they used to, until the resurgence of this self-titled album released in 1985, simply called Heart. Featured 3 huge hits that are still playing on the radio today. What About Love, Never, and These Dreams. Great songs. 2, 3, and 4. on this album, so basically they just pack a punch. Now the last one I grabbed from Heart, this is 1990's Brigade. Features the hit All I Want to Do Is Make Love to You. And this is the last of their 80s albums, even though, well, this is 1990, but it's got that 80s sound to it. And then next album was released in 93, where they're trying to usher in that 90s sound. Next up is the Hourglass. For those of you that aren't familiar, the Hourglass is actually the band featuring Greg Allman and Dwayne Allman before they would go on and form their own stuff. This is basically a 60s pop, bluesy sound, but more 60s pop. Features a cover of Norwegian Wood by the Beatles. Also covers from Carole King and Jerry Goffin, Curtis Mayfield, James Brown, and some couple of Greg Allman's own compilations. Next we have Under Wraps Remastered from Jethro Tull, another band that I'm trying to complete their studio collection, featuring Martin Barr on guitar, so that's all I needed to see to grab this one. Another band, yet again, trying to complete Generations from Journey. I believe this is, I'm only now missing one of the albums with Arnell. Generations, I should say, features Steve Olgario on vocals. The last one before they would fire him and Arnell would join the group. Next I have Kansas with Audiovisions. Very 80s looking artwork there. I do like it though. I think it's an awesome album cover. This was released in 1980. Next, another one. I don't know why I held off so long. This is, well, not recently new, but I say it's 2001. I'd say it probably came out in June. This is Kiss, off the soundboard, Tokyo Dome, Tokyo, Japan, March 13th, 2001, featuring Ace Frehley guitar and Eric Singer on drums. Basically one of the last live tours that they would do with Ace. To this set, really cool stuff on here. Features all the classic stuff, some stuff from Psycho Circus, also stuff from, what else is on here? Trying to see, there's Heaven's on Fire's on here. So some songs that Ace originally didn't play on, like stuff from Creatures of the Night. Excuse me. So this is apparently the first in a series of Kiss bootlegs, so I'm hoping more official bootlegs come out from the band. Next, another one I grabbed from Dollar Tree. This is Janie Lane, the former lead vocalist of Warrant, who unfortunately passed away. Haven't listened to this one yet. Well, 2006, this is his solo debut. So I'm interested to see what this is. And, you know, it was at Dollar Tree, so it was $1. Figured why not. Another one I found at Dollar Tree. Limp Bizkit Greatest Hits. Another band gets a lot of shit, but looking back on it, that they had, not saying great songs, but songs that really like pumped you up. Next is Mountain with Climbing. Fortunately, Leslie West passed away earlier last year. This is his, Mountain's debut album, even though there was one release under Leslie West just called Mountain. Mississippi Queen, which is obviously his biggest hit, and Theme from Imaginary Western. Great band. Played at Woodstock, kind of blew everyone away. Great underrated guitarist. Next is one of the albums I own from Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. This is Hypnotic Eye. This is his last studio album with the Heartbreakers before he unfortunately passed away, and he died way too soon. Another cheap compilation I grabbed from probably my second favorite band of all time, behind the Beatles, the Rolling Stones. Really terrible album cover, just simply called The Very Best of Rolling Stones, 64 to 71, but obviously I needed to own it for my collection. Another band I got into from the Nuggets box set, The Seeds. This is their debut album, remastered. A lot of bonus tracks on here. They had 9 bonus tracks. They had some decent songs like Can't Seem to Make You Mine, Pushing Too Hard. I believe Pushing Too Hard was the song that I heard on the Nuggets box set, which got me into the band. Another Dollar Tree find. I remember this band when they came out. Thought there was a song I liked on here, Smile Empty Soul. Haven't put it back on yet, so I gotta find out what that song was. I think Bottom of the Bottle, which was the opening track. But I remember liking it. I just can't remember the song, how it goes, but it was $1, so I'd try it. Next up, Tea for the Tillerman by Cat Stevens. I already own this, but this is the remastered edition that I didn't own, so I figured I'd replace it with the remastered edition. And I only owned this and the Greatest Hits by Cat Stevens, so as I was buying this, I also saw a teaser in the Firecat, which is another great studio album, so I picked that up also. Okay, getting down to the last three, another one I found, I believe this is Dollar Tree find. Three Doors Down, the Greatest Hits. Not a huge fan of them, but I feel like very once in a while it's like a guilty pleasure, like how you throw in Creed. So I grabbed it. Last one from Dollar Tree, Trapped. Don't really know this album at all. I'm gonna give them a chance. See how it is. And last one, my country collection. This is Hank Williams Jr. Whiskey Benton Hellbound. This is a studio album. I don't own by Hank Williams Jr. I do have a lot of his stuff, but I don't own this one. Features the amazing title track, which I love. White Lightning's a great song. And Come and Go Blues, which I didn't listen to yet, but going by the title, I'm like 100% sure it's a cover of the Allman Brothers Band's same song. Alright everyone, that is my new CD purchases from the past week. And I may be doing these videos more often if everyone likes them. And again, thanks to Brendan Snyder for the inspiration, and please go check out his channel. You will not be disappointed, especially if you have a broad range of you know, rock and rock pop and metal. Brendan's got the same thing. So yeah, everyone, thanks for watching. Another video coming up soon. I have a couple ideas floating around in my head. I know I always say that, but this one will be coming soon. Thanks for watching and enjoy the new year.